Alright, hit live.
Start talking.
What's going on, guys? Awesome Man here. We had a bunch of technical difficulties, but we've seen the guy fixed now. So right now on screen is Spike Vapes. Say hello to everyone, Spike.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
So what are we vaping on and what are we drinking? Well, today I am vaping on my Maxo 315 with the Widowmaker RDA, vaping on some, I don't know what you call it, Zverf, I guess. It's SVRF. The flavor's called Satisfying, which is a raspberry dragon fruit tea flavored. So that's all I'm getting on right now. TKAT, what are you vaping on tonight?
I am vaping on my Chaos mod, and I have my Profile, of course, and I got a new juice by Keep It 100 Blue Lemons.
Spike, what about you, since you're on camera currently?
Yeah, Vandy Vape Pulse Mech Drop RDA. In that, I got some Big Brown Beaver from Great Canadian Fog. I absolutely love this. I just got this stuff today. And then Orion Q. And I got some, what is this? Salty Dunkers from Great Canadian Fog. Again, I just got this one. I absolutely love it. And yeah, that's it for me.
All right, man. You got what we call a Mike Vapes buffet.
Right. I know.
So if anybody doesn't know, this is a friend of TKAT's, Spike Vapes. He's an avid mech mod user, avid vapor, and he wanted to come on the show, just kind of chill and kind of give his opinions on the subject that we're going to be discussing tonight. So welcome to the show, Spike. Glad to have you on, brother.
Thank you for having me.
We all remember SallaD. So SallaD, tell us what you're vaping on and what you're drinking, possibly.
Currently I've got the Capo Squonk with Profile Mesh RDA. Vaping on the Harambe by 12 Monkeys.
Now, we may have Jay Hayes on. I did send him a message saying that we're live, so he might take him a minute to pop in. So let's address some of the people in chat. What we got here, TKAT? Mike TVA, what's up, brother? And we got Dumpster Jedi. What's up?
So I'm not too sure if we have reverb or anything right now because we don't have a headset on each one of us. So if you do hear reverb, please let us know.
Now, normally with my setup, I run it through my laptop, obviously, but with help from Sal, I should get an actual PC going here the next month or less. So the laptop's really far away, and so usually what I do is I have half the screen on the Zoom room and half the screen is the pop-out chat. But since literally the laptop is that far away, I can't do that. So TKAT is monitoring through her phone. So if I look down, I apologize. That's me looking through chat.
I'll be popping in and out periodically. I'm still cooking.
Alright. Everything's looking good on my end so far. What about you, Spike? You hearing any reverb, any audio issues, or anything along those sorts?
No, it sounds good to me on my end.
What are you listening for?
Reverb.
So I'm just making sure when he's talking, we don't hear too well. Awesome.
She was just checking out the audio for a second, guys. So anybody else in chat?
Okay, so I've got some reverb. So we gotta turn down just this. I need to figure out how to turn down the volume here. Just so.
We've been at this for probably what feels like an hour.
Just to. No, we want some volume. No. How do you turn down your... that's how we turn it down.
Alright, so that should fix it.
How about now? Spike?
No, it's good here.
Oh, yeah, we're getting some reverb. This is not the setup I'm used to, folks. I apologize.
This is
Hi,
the out-of-town
Francis.
style.
Who we got? Francis in chat. What's up, Francis? Who is that? Metal Dad Vapes. What's going on?
Sal, can I get your phone so he can, while I'm picking up the
Little one.
little one? I have to go pick up little one, guys.
I need charger.
This day has been kind of all over the place for this stream. We all have our bad days, folks. But I did just message Jay, so hopefully he comes in here in a little bit.
Just to kind of.
I need a charger.
And also because we're running on a Streamlab OBS thing, so I'm running I'm literally running the stream on my phone. So I'm afraid to do anything to screw it
Oh
up.
my
As
God,
to
I
why
can't
I'm just
remember.
going to keep it on that screen.
You want me to set up a plate for his?
No, it's okay.
Oh my God.
Where is your YouTube?
This day's been all over the place, folks.
Entertainment. Go to the main screen.
I got it.
Do. Oh man. You want to talk about hell in a handbasket, folks. So I guess we'll start off with just talking about the topics that we're going to go over tonight. The first one being companies using nichrome in their sub-ohm tank coil heads, and also their pre-built coils that some of them include with RDAs or RTAs. My opinion is that not a whole lot of people can vape nichrome due to a nickel allergy, and since one of the primary metals in nichrome is nickel, they can't vape it. There's a whole multitude of people are different as far as reactions. SallaD here gets a weird. Why don't you give a quick description on what you get, SallaD, whenever you vape nichrome?
When I vape nichrome, I get akin to pneumonia. It's not fun, and it usually takes 2 weeks to get it out of my system.
What about you, TKAT? When you vape nichrome, what do you get?
I get, hold on. I get a chest infection, a really, really bad one. Not pneumonia, but it gets to the point where my poor little body just can't handle no more.
What about you, Spike? Are you allergic to nichrome or?
No, actually, I vape on nichrome.
Alright, so I will be back, guys. I promise. I gotta go and pick up my little one.
Have fun.
Hearts, everyone.
Go get your daughter. Yeah, I'm one of the guys. I can vape any wire. I vape nichrome 80 all the time. I vape nichrome 90 all the time. So I'm one of the fortunate people that can vape all the wires. Although I do, in a way, kind of hate stainless steel. I might get some heat for that one. Sal was looking for his keys, and I pointed where they were. But earlier today, we went to a local vape shop here in Cambridge, Ontario. The Village of Brett is what it's called, and TKAT bought herself the Fire Luke tank, and was asking a bunch of questions on if the coil heads used nichrome mesh or Kanthal mesh. And it didn't say on the box. It just said whether the coil it came with was mesh or not. So, in my opinion, I believe companies should actually, if someone is just buying the tank and whatever is normally included in the box, that the coil head's in there, whether it be a straight round wire or clapped-in coil head or a mesh coil head. In my opinion, it really all should be Kanthal, and they should have the nichrome coil heads as an option for like online or in the store. What do you think, Spike?
I mean, me personally, like I said, I do vape on nichrome coils for my RDA. I do agree. They should be more friendly to the people that do have nickel allergies. Aside from TKAT, I do know a couple other people that are highly allergic to nickel, and yeah, sometimes they don't have it. I find they don't have as much options as somebody without a nickel allergy.
Because so I kind of did a little bit of research earlier today too between Kanthal and nichrome, and it's usually what Kanthal is it's usually 70% iron to 20 to 30% chromium. Now someone actually a little while back commented on one of my wire reviews, which was nichrome wire, because I mentioned in the video that this is nichrome Watofo. It was the quad core fused Clapton from Watofo, and I mentioned in the video that Watofo currently at that moment did not have a Kanthal version of their wires, so anyone who can't vape nichrome can't vape it. And then this person said that people that are allergic to nichrome shouldn't vape Kanthal because Kanthal has chromium, which is about, and he's right on that. He's right on the Kanthal having chromium, because when I read the article I read said that 20 to 30% of Kanthal is chromium. Well, it's not the chromium that people are allergic to; it's the nickel. Chromium could be straight up chromium. Who knows? Don't quote me on that one, folks. But so to a point he was right about chromium being in Kanthal, but it's not the chromium that people are allergic to. So I'm just letting that person know right now, you were half right. I do my research, folks. That's why when I'm back home in the States, that's why I'm always in the cave, because I'm always seeing what's going on in the world as far as this industry. J Money, what's up, brother? Mad Mike Vapes, how you doing? Jess Gomez, how you doing? Me personally, my favorite wire is nichrome, because for me, I like the fact that whatever coil I build will have a quicker ramp up time, and that's really all why I use nichrome. I don't feel any flavor difference in Kanthal or nichrome or even stainless steel. I just like the ramp up, because I don't want to sit there for ages turning gray waiting on my damn coils to heat up. What do you think, Spike?
No, I totally agree with you. That is one of the upsides with nichrome that I do like. Is I run mech mods, and yes, with a mech mod you are going to get a bit more of a ramp up than as you would on a regulated device. But yeah, I don't know. I've made coils out of Kanthal in the past. As far as flavor, I personally find it depends on which kind of wire you're using. Yeah, but I don't know. Nichrome is my go-to on my Macs.
Right, and I rarely use Kanthal. And folks, don't get me wrong. If you can vape nichrome and if you vape nichrome and you love it, I'm not saying go to Kanthal. That's not what we're saying, folks. But the bottom line is that it's like back when like last year or so, when Jay posted that video of Kidney Puncher mislabeling nichrome wire as Kanthal, and he talked about as far as him being a shop owner. He sells somebody a roll of wire that's labeled as Kanthal, but they come out as nichrome. Yes, that's not on Jay, but we all know with today's people, they still probably would put the shop, if any shop if that happened at any shop, really, it could come back and bite that shop in the ass sometimes. Am I right? Even though the shop was not fully at fault.
Yeah.
It's more so, it's Kitty Puncher would be the one at fault. But some people don't even know. I mean, there are people who vape Canthol, and just because they like it, they don't know the liquid to nickel. I personally wouldn't take the risk of buying Nichrome and vaping it if you are allergic. Because the last thing I wanted to hear about in the Facebook groups or in articles is someone having a severe reaction to nickel from vaping Nichrome and end up in the hospital. That's the I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see that in this community. I like everyone to be safe. Also, another thing is when people raise, like, I don't know if anything in Canada is happening currently, Spike, but I do know that a lot of states or cities of states are changing their tobacco age from 18 to 21.
As far as I know here, it's sticking at 19.
19?
Yeah.
And here's my opinion on that. When they do that, like the town I live in back home, it's still 18. The state of Missouri is, and Jared, the Vaping Goat, has mentioned this before, where the entire state of Missouri is at 18 as far as tobacco. However, though, as far as I know, cities still do have the final say as far as their city limits. It's like a town called Excelsior that's the town over from mine. This is not vape related, this little section, but it kind of follows the same principle. In the county, you cannot ride ATVs or side-by-sides. In the county doesn't allow it. However, Kearney does allow it in their city limits. And just in case if anybody is kind of wondering what I'm going through here, I'm just kind of trying to lead examples. If I'm losing you guys, I apologize. But when a city raises the age from 18 to 21, so what about the people that are 19 and 20? That probably smoked from a super young age, because I've heard people that are my age, mid-20s, who've been smoking since they were like 13. So if they are 19 or 20, but the town or city that they live in goes to 21 from 18, well then, for one, and I think Ken brought this up on one of his shows, in a way, it makes because the shops government still makes money off of vaping through the taxing of the shops, the companies, and such and such. So it's literally in a way of the city and county and state and federal losing the tax money off of that. But at the same time, in a way, it's kind of taking away those people's rights. Wouldn't you say, Spike? And Spike is frozen, folks. What about you people in chat, though? What is your opinion on what I'm saying? Just Gomez, anyone with a nickel allergy needs to be careful in any case of vaping. If they haven't done the research, they could be at the risk with any number of coils coming out in the last year. That is very true. As we lost Spike, probably lost connection or something. It happens to the best of us, folks. But yeah, like I said, if you are allergic, even if you don't know if you're allergic to Nichrome, definitely do not test it out if you are or not. Stick with Canthol. I happened to find out by trying it, and I didn't get a reaction, so that's how I knew I wasn't allergic to it. But that's because I'm me. but I strongly suggest don't try it out. In my opinion, if you don't know you are allergic to nickel, then your next doctor's visit, like if you're someone who does like regular doctor's appointments, see if you can get tested if you're allergic to anything. You know what I mean? That'd be the safest bet to go. Let's see here. Joe, if you're able to come on in, bud. Let's see here. Anybody new in chat? J Money, who am I? But we got 16 people watching. We got 2 thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up, folks, and see if we can get more people in here. Sean Albright. They raised the drinking age years ago. It used to be 18, so I can imagine it would be the same way with smoking. Unfortunately, I can't see that anyone will be grandfathered in. Yeah, no one can really get grandfathered in. I mean, they could, maybe. But at the same time, though. But, however, here's the thing, though. So, as far as another town that's near my town, they raised it to 21. However, though, they stated in the law that the purchase of tobacco or vape products is prohibited for anybody under 21. Purchase. Then I read this article on my local news. There was a huge lawsuit. I don't want to say. I think it was with the city or the police department. I cannot remember. This kid who apparently was 19, who was smoking since he was like 12 or 13, decided to go to vaping to try to quit. And I guess he got caught with a vape product, and the cop confiscated it and threatened to take him and all that. Took it to court. I think he took it to court, and I believe he won. But here's Ken. Yeah, I'm getting lost here myself. Maybe here in a little bit, Mike. Yeah, Jesse. That would be this. If you want to try nichrome, but you don't know if you're allergic to nickel, I strongly suggest go to your doctor and get the allergy test done. So that way, if you do end up being allergic, you have medical staff there to make sure nothing bad happens. Box Mods. Sucks in my state, they raised it to 21. I'm 19 now. It got changed when I was 18, but I still go to vape shops and vape in public. Cops ID me and say nothing. I think that and again it I can only go as far as like what's in my town and the towns around me back home. Most of the towns around me, there are 3 towns. Basically, with my town, my town and the 3 others were basically like a big square. And the 3 others that are closest to me changed to 21. One did about 6 months ago. The earliest one was probably about a year ago. As far as I know, people who are still between the ages of 18 and 21, they're still vaping with no problems. I think it also depends on if the cops are in a good mood. Just grab it. Let's see here. And again, I apologize. I know I'm late. Had a really bad difficulty. Here's what I was having trouble with. So normally when I go through Zoom or go live, I usually had Zoom directly hooked up to YouTube without any OBS or anything. Well, TKAT was helping me to go live through OBS. Unfortunately, something happened in the process where I still had the go live option. But every time I went live, I hit live like 3 times before I got everything working. and it just wouldn't go live. It was showing that I was live, but it just wasn't showing through YouTube. It was stressing me the fuck out. What up, Joe?
Not much, man. Here's the deal. The reason that they want to go to 21 is because the FDA and everybody has had such a fight on their statistics, because they are getting the 18-year-olds in that. So now they want to go to 21, which is going to put them in a better spot, because now all 18, 19, 20 that are out there, they're all in with their analysis. So then they can be right and everybody else can be wrong.
My town's still 18, so we got Jennifer Rand in chat. What's going on, Jennifer?
Well, see, and there's the thing. Cities still have the right to put it at whatever age they want, but the federal government can override that. So it's just like, okay, it's just like with legalizing weed. Okay, towns can say that they don't want it, or they can say they want it, but you can still get in trouble with the federal government, even though it's legalized in that state. The federal government still sees it as illegal, and they can still, if they want to be dicks, they can do that and confiscate and jail and whatever else they want to do.
Were you having some bad connection issues there, Spike?
Yeah, sorry about that. My phone overheated there for a minute and died on me, so I had to go change to a different charger. But it should be good now.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem, man. No problem at all. Jesse says still 18 here in Michigan. Wendy Blank, what's up? Last OBS update really had some bugs. I've had trouble with it for a couple months with YouTube and Chrome. Box Mod says it's bullshit. Some shops won't let me buy anything. Others will, but I vape in public. Get ID'd a lot, but they just say you're good to go. But one cop stopped me, took my whole setup. Whew.
Wow.
Okay, and why is that, Boxman? Are you like between the age of 18 and 21, and they went to 21 so they can legally do that? Or was it just a cop being a dick?
He says I'm 19 now. He said that earlier.
Yeah, so if the state went to 21, then they can take your stuff. They can write you for a minor in possession and all kinds of shit.
Now, what I was discussing earlier about companies with the Canthal and Nichrome, what is your thoughts on Nichrome being put in, or companies using Nichrome for their coil heads and not giving a Canthal option, or like should they start using Canthal as the main wire to use in their coil heads and have the Nichrome as an option? What's your thoughts?
Well, okay, that falls back onto the person that's buying the stuff. Okay, I mean, they make all different kinds of coils. If you can't find one with one person, then you go to another one that you know, and you've got to do your own research. If you're allergic to nickel, then stay away from the Nichrome. If you think that there's a possibility that you might be, allergic to it, get tested for it first. Use your brain and be smart about it. See, I use Canthal. I can't use nickel because my daughter is allergic to nickel. So I can't use any of the nichrome or any of that. And I get good flavors off my Canthol.
Right.
But, you know, I mean, you just got to educate yourself and know what know what you're wanting and know if you're allergic to it or not. I mean, you can't go back to a company and tell a company, hey, you got to just make Canthol and that's it. And, you know, you can use these others as options, but you already have that option when you order. You can order nichrome, Canthol, you know, and if they don't carry Canthol, then go somewhere else.
Should they at least, should they like at least label on the package or on the website that's like these coil heads have nichrome, or should that?
If I'm right, most of them do. I mean, you know, most of your builders will put on there on it what is, you know, what wire was used and stuff. Like Eric Sutherland sent me this setup, and he sent me some coils with it, and they're from Bandy Vape, and they have a label on there telling me exactly what they are, you know. So you just got to be knowledgeable. You got to know you got to know yourself before you get into buying this stuff, because I mean, you know, you have a nickel allergy and you buy a nichrome coil and you get really sick, whose fault is it? It's sure not the made it, because they labeled it as nichrome. That falls back onto you because you didn't, you know, you either A, have never been tested to see what you're allergic to, or B, you just wanted, you know, you didn't know what you're buying and you bought it anyway. You know?
No, I kind of agree with you there.
Right. What if someone, what if a website didn't label, or if a company did not label it and it doesn't say what material they used in the coil heads?
They don't buy it.
Right. True.
Plain and simple. If you don't know what you're buying, don't buy it.
Yeah.
You know, because coils, yes. If you don't know what you're buying, don't buy it. But when it comes to juice, you know, that's part of being it, is you buy different juices and try them out. Now, juice, that's a whole different story, because I'm with TKAT on that. They need to be labeling whether they use peanut oil or anything in there for that allergy, because that is a big allergy.
What about coils that come with RDAs or rebuildables?
Well, if you look, most of them say what they are.
Well, I'll agree with you on that. There were a couple of RDAs that I've purchased that did say it. However, though, the latest RDA I bought, which was the Widowmaker, on the box, or it didn't say on the box. I did a quick read through the manual, didn't say that either. But it wasn't until I looked at the bag that they were nichrome, because it was labeled on the bag.
Okay, well, I just was looking at the OBS Engine 2 box, and I guess, you know, it just says 2 coils. It don't say what type of coils. If you get that, you know, that goes back to, do you know whether you're allergic to nickel or not? And trust me, people, to have that test done, it takes maybe 30 minutes, if that, and then they get you the results within a week, so you know what all you're allergic to. But if it's not marked and you don't know what it is, don't use it. You know, if you're new getting into it. Now, hobbyists, we all have coils that we like and we go to all the time, and we know what they are. But, you know, I mean, if you're new getting into it, if you don't know what it is, don't use it.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with you there.
Wendy Blank just mentioned I wouldn't. Basically, it's saying if it doesn't say it, I wouldn't buy it. Same goes for e-juice flavorings. I forgot what I was going to say. Lost my train of thought just now. Which
Windy.
Ain't hard to do.
But the problem with that is if you don't buy, if you don't have all the ingredients and you don't buy it, you could be missing out. But I understand where you're coming from. But you can ask TKAT. There are a lot of juices out there that have peanut oil or some sort of peanut in it, and it don't say it on the package.
Right.
It don't say it nowhere on the juice. So you kind of take your chances on it. Which until a couple weeks ago, I never even thought about that. Until TKAT brought that up about peanut being in juices now. I mean, let alone peanut butter. It's got peanuts. But
right. But you wouldn't think like a like the juice I'm vaping on right now, this raspberry dragon fruit tea. You wouldn't think that this could have came in contact with anything related to peanuts.
That's it.
Because I am looking at this bottle and I literally cannot see. There's nothing on this bottle that says that this may have had contact with peanuts or any related. All it has is its traditional nicotine warnings and such.
And see, I think that's where, and I'm probably going to get torn up in chat, I think that's where the FDA should be focusing on, is making juice companies print labels with all the ingredients on the label. Because look, you go buy a box of macaroni and cheese at Walmart. You look in there, it's got all the ingredients in there. Anything you buy more food-wise has got a list of ingredients. And most of them, now have got, your calorie count and all that stuff because the FDA wants that on there. I think it's no different. I think the labels on juices should have a list of everything that's in that juice. Now, they don't have to give out, the percentages or anything like that, but they should have a list.
Right, give a pretty descriptive list of what is all in the liquid.
Yeah.
Now, people who watch this are probably going to be like, well, some do. It says vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, natural and artificial flavorings. Well, that's just not good enough because you do not really know whether the flavoring was making that flavoring, if anything had to do with anything you're allergic to. You never know.
Yeah, and besides that, artificial flavoring, you still know what you're putting into that juice. Whether it's artificial flavor, strawberry artificial flavoring, banana, you still know what's in that for artificial. So instead of putting artificial, they just need to put in, PGBG, banana, whatever.
Okay, Josh Rhodes in chat. What's up, Josh? And he says this. Makers do not flush the machines before going to a different juice. So if they did a peanut mix before and don't flush it right, well then it will be in the next mix.
Yeah. And see, that's where I think the FDA needs to be standing in on. I truly believe that vaping needs to have regulations like everything else, but not so bad that it's going to choke the living shit out of vaping.
Right. Basically, the simple stuff. Like if you are a if you're a juice company, after you mix like a batch of this one flavor, clean out your machine thoroughly before starting the next one.
Yeah. And you get to know people, like Bill Hubbard. He makes juice at home and stuff. He makes his own juices and stuff. But he knows everything that's going in there, and he will tell you everything that's in there. And if you're honest like that, for somebody who's, not regulated, let's say. Not like your major companies, but if you get somebody like Bill, and he'll tell you exactly what's in there. You got other guys that sell juice that they have no freaking clue on what's in the juice at all.
Right. I totally agree. And I'm right there with you as far as there needs to be some regulations. Now, I'm not the kind of guy that says fuck the FDA. Although I do say that the FDA is not looking through this thoroughly enough.
Yeah.
But like you said, Joe, I do believe that like for juice companies, if they make a wide range of different types of flavors from like desserty to fruity to so that they between each batch clean out the machine thoroughly from the top to bottom to make sure that whatever you previously mixed does not have a chance of getting into the next one. So like if you okay, I'm going to stop there because I'm going to start rambling.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing, and that's what needs to be in this industry. Is you need to have the FDA regulations like that because it does protect the consumer. Making them clean after a run of juice, if they're changing the juice, I don't see what the problem is. It maybe knocks hour or two, whatever it takes to clean it out thoroughly before you can run your next batch, but at least then that nobody can come back on you. Because quite honestly, if the juice is made in the States here and you have a peanut allergy and it's not listed on that bottle,
you don't know. You will never know if it has any trace of peanuts.
Yeah, but see, here's the downfall for the makers. If you use it and you have an allergic reaction, by law you can get a lawyer and sue the company that made it because it did not put it on there. Did
Right.
not list it on their bottle. So, I mean, it helps both the consumer and the maker of the juice. It helps both if you got them regulations in order and you're printing what's on there.
There's something going on. There's stuff going on in chat. If you guys have any questions at all, pop it in chat.
Yeah, use caps so that it draws attention so we know which ones to answer.
Right. Or tag either me or Joe and possibly Spike. So that way it highlights in the comments and we can see it.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, everyone with an allergy, it depends on the person. Like earlier, before TKAT and SallaD left, when it comes to vaping nichrome, they both have a nickel allergy, but it affects them differently. SallaD said that he gets something similar to pneumonia, but TKAT just gets a straight chest infection.
Well, and see, the thing is with the peanut allergy, it can happen so many different ways. But I mean, if you don't get help right away with it, it could end up killing you.
Right, it can kill you.
And see, hi Tommy Vapors, but Tommy Vapor put in, you could shove your head up a cow's ass to see what meat you're getting, or you could just trust your butcher. Which is true, I mean, but it goes the same way with the juice companies,
You may hear barking here in a second, folks, because here comes TKAT and SallaD right now.
Oh my god. My legs are cold.
She's griping about the cold again.
Sal really wanted to weigh in on that you were just talking, but it's like, he's talking, and then he's like, wait, I'm not even in the chat. So I'm like, oh dear. Hot dog.
And there she goes about grabbing about the cold again, folks.
Hi guys. I gotta hide my kid. Just give me 1 second, guys. All you have to do is just push this button, by the way. And mute it.
Well, and see there, with Tick Mike, you know, you can have allergy. He has an allergy to VG. You know, you got people out there that are allergic to PG. But the thing is they know what they're allergic to. They're not going into it blind. They're being smart about it and know exactly what they're allergic to.
Yeah, like if I can jump in there, like me personally, I've got an allergy to grapefruit, and
Alright, Isabella.
like, I don't know, anytime I go into a vape shop
put it away.
and I see a flavor that, you know, might interest me,
Have a good night.
I would never hesitate to ask, hey, does this have grapefruit in it? I've had a couple close calls in the past.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, if you know what you're allergic to, and you know, then you're set up better anyway.
Yeah.
Because then you can go in there and you can say, look, I have a nickel allergy. I want some coils that are not nickel.
Yeah.
You know, you've got Anthol stainless steel. You know, so. It's just, it's people that don't know what they're allergic to and don't keep up on that. It's some of the biggest problems that we have, because, you know, that stuff makes the news. And the first thing they're going to point to is the vape.
Yep.
You know, but they were fine until they took so they started vaping and this juice and they're laying on the floor gasping for air or whatever. And
yeah, no, I totally agree with you there, Joe.
Yeah, they need to, I apologize for any of that, guys, I really do. Things happen.
You're whispering.
Give you guys shit.
I give you shit.
But I believe SallaD, though, because TKAT did whisper to me a minute ago that he has something to say about what I just said about
the being able to sue companies for not putting it on there. We're not saying to go out and look for it to sue them, but to be careful.
well, yeah, I guess I should have said that. You know, I'm not saying go out and just sue every damn company you can, but you know, I mean, if the thing was, if it was printed on the label and stuff, then that would take away from the company aspect of it. And it would fall all back onto the consumer, because then they would know what's in there and they still did it.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm really, really hungry. But at least you can see that I do eat.
I'm not gonna lie, folks. You can probably tell I am a lot bigger than her.
And I have a bigger plate than he does.
Half the time she can out-eat me under the table. When you blank, you have a great night.
Huh?
Wendy said you have a great night.
Oh.
Tommy Vapor says, I hear a lot of people allergic to PG and most don't think about VG. It's like you were saying, Joe. there's a lot of people who have there's a lot of allergies out there that people have.
I just have a very sad one. I can't have peanuts. I used to eat peanut butter all the time, and now I can't eat it.
It was like earlier today, it was like whenever she tries a new flavor at her local shop. Like when she was trying, I think it was today when you were asking the guy so many questions about e-juice and hasn't been in contact with anything peanut related.
Oh no, he was telling me that none of the ones that he's picking doesn't have any peanuts in it, and then I'm like, I can't remember who's told me, but there's in the custards there's peanuts, and he's like, yeah, that was me, and I'm like, oh, okay. But he was the one that told me about it. But he always remembers. Whenever I walk in there, he's like, by the way, there's a new product that I have. No peanuts.
Seems like a peanut allergy is a pretty common allergy for people nowadays.
Well, that's it. I mean, you got your two major allergies that bother vapors. Peanuts and nickel. You know, and, you know, then you got BG and PG, but, you know, there's a lot, but it just goes back to taking care of yourself and know what you're buying. Know what you're allergic to, know what you're buying.
Exactly.
Like like you said a minute ago, there needs to be some regulations as far as juice manufacturers keeping the product clean and free of any contamination or any, you know. I mean, let's face it. The last thing we want to see when we buy a bottle of juice is see a fucking hair in it.
Right?
Yeah, and see, here's the thing though. Like TKAT said, you know, Canada makes them put if it's got peanut in it or not, they make them put it on the label. Right now, the FDA could care less whether they're putting it on the label in the States, because the FDA is trying to go just straight at vapors and vapes and try to eliminate the shit until they figure out how they're going to get their cuts out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Vapor says, and as you age, your body changes and chemical balance changes, so you can outgrow or become allergic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I used to be deathly allergic to animals. I now own a dog and in a house with 2 dogs and a cat.
Yeah, you know, I mean,
My allergies really haven't changed. I just had more peanuts in there.
it's different for everybody, you know. I mean, some people have the same allergies from the day they were born to the day that they died, but it just goes back to, you know, taking care of yourself and knowing what you know. Allergen test, to have your stuff tested is not that hard, and it's not that bad. And, you know, it'll tell you exactly what you're allergic to at that time. It's just like Jennifer Ann. She put in here, she's allergic to pecan pollen. She can eat pecans all day long, and she can vape pecan juice. But she also, you know, I'm still careful, though, because that can change real quick. So, you know.
TKAT's wrestling to the kitchen like a chicken with their head cut off.
It's a bag. Garbage bag. There's garbage like poking out of it. I decided to pause on my eating for now.
She paused on her eating, folks. That's a rarity.
It is.
Jeez, I've even known you for years, and that's a rarity.
Oh my god, that gross. Oh.
Oh, good night, Tommy Vapors. Thanks for tuning in, bro. What? And since we were on the topic of regulations for juice, what about regulations for devices? Like, should there be any regulations for devices?
If I can jump in, I think I agree. I agree with that 100%, especially with mech mods. I know with all the stipulations, the regulations here in Ontario, in order for a vape shop here to be able to show, like, they have to apply for a specialty vape shop license in order to be able to display and even show you how to run the devices. But like, yeah, like mech mods, I think they, for all those mech mod users, yeah, I think that they should almost, the customers should be almost go like quizzed on to make sure that they know what they're doing. Because what was it, a couple months ago or so, I heard, I think somewhere down in the States there, some guy had a mech mod blow half of his face off. But yeah, I don't know whether it's mech mod or a regulated device. I think there should be some kind of regulation where you should be informed, and that salesperson should be guaranteed that, yes, okay, this customer knows how to run this device.
So more so like when they come out with a mech, they should test it first to make sure, like put a battery in and actually press it a few times just to make sure that nothing is like cutting into the wrap, or nothing is shorting, or something is not touching like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
There's something in my foot.
But here's the thing with that. The bigger question is, who should regulate that? Because
that
the
usually
FDA
will fall into the company itself.
Yeah, because the FDA, the only thing that the FDA can actually, by law, regulate is the juice. They can't do anything with coils. They can't do anything with the mods or tanks. Because it's not food. It's not a drug. It's a device to do it. So they can't really regulate that. But I'm all for shop owners to be putting their employees through a test and make sure that they know what devices do what, how they work, how the rebuildables do, and then take away the damn law that says that you can't help a customer after the point of sale or at the point of sale, because in the States you can't, by law, you can sell them the product, but you can't show them, you can't teach them how to use it, you can't teach them how to coil it, you can't teach them none of that, which is bullshit.
Right. Well, because it's like someone who knows, like, let's take Spike for example. He obviously is an avid mech user, and let's say someone who, like for me, I know Ohm's law, I know battery safety and all of that, but let's say you took someone with the knowledge on how to run a mech, but doesn't quite understand the mech itself, like how a mech works. A shop can't teach you it. So that's still, in a way, if you think about it, that still falls on the risk of everything going to shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the bad thing is if you buy a mech at a store, okay, you walk into your vape store, you buy a mech, they sell it to you, and you don't know what you're doing, and you go out and you put battery in, and you put, and the son bitch hot spots burns your fuck face and shit. That store is legally bound to where they're putting themselves into a position that they can be targeted for that, for them selling that device. just like a bar. You know, a bartender overserves a customer, and they go out and get in a wreck. That bartender is liable for it. So the bartender can be charged just like the person driving.
Yeah. Like, I was telling Monster Man before the show started, the vape shops up in my area, a lot of them, they just don't even deal with mechs because they don't want they don't want to have the risk hindering on their shoulders. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to sell a mech mod to somebody and wonder, is this guy going to blow his face off?
Well, and see, that goes back to where I think that the shop owners should be testing their employees.
Yeah.
So that their employees know what device does what. Because, I mean, anything can happen. A regulated device can fail and blow up. You know, anything could happen at any time.
Yeah.
It's just a chance that we take. But it happens more often with the mech mods because they're a direct short and, you know, there's no safety protection or anything like that that's supposed to stop it beforehand. And, you know, I mean, if you don't know what you're selling, then you shouldn't be selling it, period.
Exactly. So basically, what you're saying is that the FDA should find a better way to regulate juice, like kind of how we're discussing. But then but at the same time, though, when it comes to mods, companies need to start regulating themselves and actually make sure that, as far as everything is done right. But at the same time, also, it's bullshit how vape shops can't teach somebody how to run devices they don't know how to run, especially at the risk of a mech.
That's it. That's the point. You know, you want better safety, and everybody's bitching about mech mods not being safe. Well, if you want better safety, teach your employees how to do it, and lift the fucking ban on the fact that your employees can't say nothing to the person that's buying. You know, I mean, and honestly, quiz the person that's buying a damn mech mod. Do they know Ohm's law? Do they know battery safety? And if they don't, then, you know, you can refuse to sell at any time.
But like Mike TVA says, basically what he's saying is it's bullshit how shops can't teach you how to use a mech, but thank God for YouTube, which is actually also a good counteract with the shops not being able to teach you. There are a bunch of videos out there of vapors showing how mechs and other unregulated devices work.
Oh yeah, I'll be totally honest. That's how I learned how to do a rebuildable, and that's where I learned how mechs work and, you know, all that stuff. Well, I hadn't learned it from the shop I bought the shit from. I learned it from YouTube.
Yep, me too.
Bare minimum, someone in a store that's selling a mech mod should be able to say, don't build below this, don't build above that, certain ohm reading.
Yeah.
Every shop should be able to tell you, you know, this. They should be able to ask you about the safety on the device, on whether it's, you know, battery safety, Ohm's law, and teach them the right way to use this stuff. I don't think you'd have as many problems as you do. I don't think there would be as much bitch about mech mods if the people were actually being taught how to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you again.
And that's where YouTube comes in, because, you know, I was on a baby beast tank for 6 months. 4 of them months, I was watching to see how to do rebuilds and, you know, rebuildables and that shit. And then once I got into the rebuildables, I turned my interest to mech mods and learned about the mech mods and all that, you know. You should never just jump right into it, but, you know, you need to learn. And the only way you got any more to learn is YouTube.
That's how it is nowadays.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, brother?
Did y'all miss me?
Always.
But it's just like when
So-
today, when I went this, I didn't even read the instructions.
Say that on the camera, not to me.
Well, today I got this,
The
Can you
fire Luke from Freemax.
There you go.
and they couldn't. I asked them if it was Canthol instead of Nicrom when we were talking about allergies earlier.
Yeah.
Mind you, I wasn't here when we were talking about it. And
No, it seemed like you were getting your food for nourishment.
they're like, well, it's either sterling silver or Canthol. And I'm like, okay, well, do you know which one is in it right now? And for the longest
Going
time,
on.
they were running back and forth. Back and forth.
I don't think sterling silver and 316 stainless. is the same thing.
Stainless steel, you know.
I've never baked sterling silver before.
It is
Is it any
like-
good?
Don't vape sterling silver, folks.
Yeah, don't. Shh. We'll just rewind to whatever. Yeah.
You said
Again, it's
sterling.
been a
on.
weird day. It's okay. He went around in the roundabout, and instead of going straight, he went all the way around.
I
Made a
did
U-turn.
U-turn.
It's a
So-
weird day today.
Yeah, it's all right.
And
What I was
so-
gonna say is with with what Joe was saying about Max, I just wanted to. I didn't mean to cut you off,
Yeah,
but
no.
with Max, you should not feel comfortable doing Max unless you're advanced vapor to begin with. With that being said, myself personally, I didn't go to Max until last year. I've been doing this 5 years. So my first true mech was this little Athena Squonker, and I have a Wasp Nano on top. One of my favorite setups. My first mech tube was the Dreamer. So I'm a little spoiled. Yeah, thank you, Stan. And my first mesh was the Profile, which is that pretty thing right there. And no, I don't like Ultim, it would just fit. So with that being said, know your Ohm's law. Look at your battery wraps before you put batteries in devices. And if they need to rewrap, rewraps are not expensive. They're on eBay. You can get a set of 100 for like $10. It's
I
not
even know
because-
a lot of shops that I've been to. If you go in with a torn battery wrap, they will rewrap your batteries for free.
Yeah. Well, let's see here. Hold on.
But then
Well,
also at
and
the same time, though,
that's
you
a
may end up getting a battery that's not rated correctly. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Not to throw his name out there, but Daniel DJ LSP Vapes had a. Trying to remember, it's a purple battery wrap. I can't remember.
E-Fest.
E-Fast battery blow up on it because it was rated wrong. I mean, but you learn the hard way. Sometimes you have to learn the hard ways to get through situations like that. Like with my Dreamer, I only run 30 Ts. That's all I run. Period. I don't run 18650s. I don't trust the amp limits. Samsung 30Ts are very good batteries. Their amp limits are on point, and I've even looked at Battery Mooch. By the way, Battery Mooch, if you're not a subscriber to his Facebook group and YouTube, become one.
Right, he's
That's where
very
you-
knowledgeable in the realm of batteries.
Yes, you need to know this stuff if you want to become an advanced vapor. Period.
And the other thing to go along with that, you need some sort of device to be able to tell you what your ohms are on it. I have
Yeah.
regular mods I can check my ohm level on, or in my build kit, I have a device that I screw the damn thing on, and it tells me what the ohms are.
I mean, hell, even, I don't know if y'all could see that, but even that, just a regulated device will give you the ohms.
Yeah. But that's all shit that you need to know before you get into the mech mod.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah,
that's why
Janeway
I'm
did
scared to
say
shit out
something
of
in chat that's on topic with mechs, and he brings a very valid point. Even if a shop refuses to sell a mech, don't mean that that same person won't go online to buy it, where they don't have the ability to have their questions answered. Now, I have an answer for that. If you buy a mech online and you don't know anything about mechs, then I strongly encourage, actually more require, like we said a minute ago, go on YouTube, research it, Learn how they work. Even when it comes down to even when it comes down to the battery. Go to Battery Mooch and see what batteries are good for mechs. Because surely he's got a video about running a mech and what battery you should probably use.
Okay.
Well, Battery
With
Mooch
that being said,
a whole series of
yeah.
about the mech mods and stuff. I mean, he's done a whole series on different batteries and stuff.
Well, with that being said, this little thing right here has been on the market for 3 years, roughly. Noisy Cricket, Series box mod. How many people actually know how to build on a Series mod compared to Parallel? Series 0.4 or higher, you will draw less than 20 amps. 20 amps should be your cutoff limit on a Series mech, period. Now, what I have seen online is Zamplebox has given information on the difference between Series and Parallel and how to figure that out. And it gives you great examples without having to go through an Ohm's law calculator or having to figure it out on your own.
Right, because there are mathematical equations you can use to figure out your amperage.
By the way, this is a RTA. This is not a sub tank for anybody in the chat who wants to sit there and try and call me out. And it has a protruding 510 pin, so it's not a hard short. And these are Samsung 25R batteries in here. I'm pulling 12 amps off the batteries because I'm not stupid.
Well, and I mean, even to that point, Battery Mooch has covered that.
Yeah.
He's got Battery Mooch is such an awesome guy when it comes to being able to learn about your builds and your batteries and how everything works.
Yeah, he does. He's awesome.
I'd recommend, that's the only person I'd recommend for anybody to go to check it out, learn it.
Guy's got a degree in electrical engineering. I think he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but back to J Money, the thing with that is the shop refused to sell them. Well, then that shop's doing something right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, you can go online and you can buy them, and that falls back onto the vape industry regulating itself to the point where maybe online come up with some sort of test that you got to go through before you can purchase a mech mod. It's not all that hard,
Like last year, I was working in a vape shop, and we sold a lot of mech mods. If somebody came in and asked me, "Hey, I want to buy that mech mod," I'd drill them with 20 questions, and if I personally didn't feel comfortable enough or confident that they knew what they were doing, I turned away hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of sales for mech mods.
Well, you can do simple tests at the shop. Have them put a battery in it.
Yeah.
Because if they can't put the battery in a mech mod the right way so that if it does move, it's right and don't blow the hell up, then, that's the first thing that they don't know.
Well, in all fairness, the new mech tubes coming out have venting on both sides of the tube now, so you don't have to worry about the gas. The gas is leaking out, or you can put them in one positive up or positive down now, so you don't have to worry about that. With the Dreamer, positive down because the vent holes are on the button side. Now, the new one I think Stan's coming out, or Tenacious TX Vapes, for anybody who's out there, is called the Keen. This one has vent holes at the top and on the button to protect. And it's also got a Delrin insert. So in case your battery may happen to get a tear or anything on there, you're protected somewhat. But you still need to check your stuff.
Right. Yeah. No matter what, it doesn't matter what kind of safety features a mech may have. What you said, a Delrin liner. The risk is, like I always say, if there's still a risk, if the risk is still there, no matter what, always have precaution.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with vaping, there's a risk every time. I don't care if you're using a mech mod, a pod mod, a fucking regulated mod. You're still taking a risk every time you hit the button. But, people like Stan, Tenacious TX, he's doing the things the right way when he's building these mech mods, because he is making it to where if it vents, it can vent either in, you don't have to have the battery in one certain way, and taken precautions on his end to make it as safe as possible.
Yeah, and Tom's Vape does a pretty damn good job with their quality control and how well their products are made. I got the stainless steel one, and I've looked at all the machining, make sure there was no nicks, no cuts. I mean, it's pretty damn good work for what it is. And I mean, it's not a cheap mod by any chance. I think this one is. I know the 4 originals were $95, and like the aluminum ones were $65.
Yeah, but I mean, if it comes down to it that you've got a guy that uses mech mods all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and is building mech mods, he's doing it the right way because he's trying to make it as safe as possible for everybody. But it all falls back onto the consumer and their education of
Yeah, there's always risks involved. Even down to a regulated mod, there's still risks involved. Hasn't there been a couple cases where people had batteries vent on them just in the dry fire process of the coils?
Yeah, they've had regulated mods hit batteries before. They've had the product. Name one product that don't have a problem or a risk at it. I mean, you get in a car and drive down the street every day, and you're taking a risk that the tires ain't going to fall off, or parts ain't going to fall the hell off.
Yeah.
Break down. It's like anything else. Eventually, it's going to break down. Now, it can do it earlier because the consumer is stupid about what they're doing, or it could be longer because the consumer knows what they're doing, and it's just not as at its life's end.
Yeah, I have 3 mods on my shelf right now I refuse to use because the chips have gone bad.
Or
One's my Rolo.
As TKAT just says, there's a risk in everything.
Including when you buy food.
There's a risk I can't wake up tomorrow.
Right.
You can go and get yourself a nice, lovely cheeseburger and have a heart attack. No.
Right?
Or I could. Oh my god. That was perfect
Sorry
timing.
about the little one in the background.
Well, I'm now trying to watch my mouth. Thank you.
It's okay. I'm trying to hide.
She normally has her
No,
headset on.
it wasn't
so
that. I was going to make a Viagra joke, but
I've been given crap by people when I go to buy a mod because I want a higher wattage output device, but I'll probably only run it at max half the wattage it can potentially put out. Yeah, the Maxo specifically, it's a 315 watt mod.
no, it's not.
It
It says it is, but it's not.
It's not a true 315, right?
I'd say about 250, maybe.
Yeah. I don't know. Why don't we ask Jared? He does he does that, hot as hell out of your mouth flame test. Here, let's really test and see if this is 315 watts. Oh, that sucked. Jeez, I wonder why, dude.
But again, I'm not going to run the Maxo at max capacity. I'm only going to go 220 at most.
No, you know what? Here's a stupid story I found out, or I heard today. It was a girl that vapes at, a local grocery store. I said, hey, oh, cool, you got the dead rabbit. And I was looking at her setup. I said, so what are you running here? She goes, oh, I got a couple fuse Claptons in here. I run them about 200 watts. And I'm like, wait, what?
What?
I said, you run them that hot? She's like, yeah, I like it like that. I was like, oh my God, I hate the fact that damn Baby Bees came out because people are so stupid with their wattages now.
Me and SallaD, well, he's kind of dwindled down in the wattage in the last few months. But normally, like right now, I'm running this Widowmaker at 150. And normally, I run between about 150 to 200 to sometimes 250, depending on the coil.
Yeah, I grew up with I'm a pansy, and I'll run between 70 and 120 watts. That's it.
Yeah, I got it. Like everyone has seen me on these shows and on videos. I have a PWM mod that's capable of 900 watts, and I have taken it up to the full 900 before.
Wait, is this the Titan PWM or
Here's mine.
I'm talking about a semi-unregulated lipo PWM mod.
Oh, okay, an actual PWM mod.
Yeah, I do agree with Jared on the Titan. It's not PWM, it's variable voltage.
Oh, you mean his dildo setup? Got it.
Still comes up short.
Speaking of which, Jared, if you're in the chat, happy anniversary, buddy.
Happy anniversary,
can't wait
Jared. Which he's probably not,
can't
though,
believe-
because he did say... He's probably not in chat, though, because he did say he's making this whole weekend for his wife.
Good man.
Well, I can't believe somebody put up with him that long and didn't pay him.
Or
Or wait a minute, the other way around. Strike that, reverse it. I can't believe somebody put up with him that long and he didn't have to pay her.
Technically, he does.
Oh,
Technically.
Well, they both work, so I guess they're paying for each other.
Jared doesn't work.
He's still... I will say this funny story, though.
Yeah, let's not... No.
I will say
Government
this
might be
funny
watching
story,
this.
though. Is when Jared and Ken did a live stream called Keep On Truckin', I think it was last
Oh,
week.
my... Yeah, I watched it. I was laughing my rear end off. I'm trying to watch my mouth.
He wasn't lying, though, when he was talking about when me and him met up in his studio. When I first walked to that door and I saw Jared standing up, I'm 6'5". I thought Jared was going to be close to my height. I'm looking
Then you
down at
realized
somebody
he was
who's just
closer to your nuts?
barely at my shoulder.
Oh, I was going to say you realized he was closer to your nuts. So, I mean...
Even Jared would need a microscope.
Oh, shit. SallaD, I can't deal with you, man. By the way,
That's my semi-porn star.
he doesn't have the stash, though. He needs the stash. Just
No,
the
but
stash.
Jay Hayes one time coming home from Canada, we happened to catch Jay do a live thing on his Rube Wicks and Coils, and we noticed, so we hit the request to go live while we were in the car. And the moment Jay sees SallaD, first words out of his mouth, that guy looks like a 70s porn star.
Yeah. Pizza delivery, man.
You got that porn music in the background as you're pulling up. You walked into that one, man.
Yeah.
Almost any kind of music can become porn music. Just take some pop and raise the bass up real high.
Touche. Anyway, guys, I gotta get off here. Gotta spend some time with my wife. Monster's been fun, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, no problem, man. Anytime.
All right, y'all take care.
Hey, Mike. Have a good night.
Mike, we're probably gonna cut this. We're gonna I'm gonna start cutting these shows a little shorter because let's be honest, those 5-hour shows were taking a toll on me mentally. I would end the show after 5 hours and I'd just be mentally drained. So we're gonna try to keep this one a little bit short. Anybody have like a question or something for anybody on the panel? All the talks we talked about with like for like regulations for e-juice or mech mods. Anybody got any questions on anything we might have missed?
Mods in general.
Yeah. Because I think we covered just about everything.
Actually, I'm really surprised about the tank that I got. They actually have their regulations on there.
TKAT got cut off earlier. While the shop could not say what kind of coil was in the packaged atomizer, the manual did say.
Yeah. Well, it was just funny because he even called somebody to ask what was in it, like what if it was Canthal or if it was nichrome or stainless steel.
Don't say silver.
It's not sterling silver.
And so, well, they knew that it was the both of them. It was. Now I have sterling silver stuck in my head now.
Stainless steel.
Stainless steel and Canthal. And so I'm looking at them and I'm like, well, shouldn't it say in the manual? And they're like, Well, we don't know. And they just continue, like, trying to figure it out. And then finally I open up the book, and I'm looking through, I'm like, oh, it says canthal, 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 canthal. And I think it's all canthal. And I noticed, actually, when I kept reading it through, like, it tells you how to do it, how to set it up, blah, 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 blah. Plus, I can also change it and make it into an RDA.
Rebuildable tank.
And,
it has an RBA head.
No, RTA.
Rebuildable.
For sub-ohm tanks, they call it an RBA.
Oh. Anyways.
Yeah.
I'm still new.
She'll get there, folks, with our help.
One day.
But most of your coils for like the max relay or Fire Max and all that, 90% of the time when the coils come with it, they're Canthal.
Yeah.
Most all the companies use Canthal anymore because it's just an all around. They don't have problems with it all around.
And then I was reading more of it, and then it even had in the very back of it the regulations of age requirements. Some countries maybe 18 plus, some countries will be more. The States is 21. So when they brought, like, they actually have it in their little manual, so I was kind of...
Yeah, some companies do have, like, a lot of the needed information, if not all the needed information. But again, there's also some companies that don't have that don't put that information in the box.
Yeah, you know, I mean, a lot of companies don't even put the stuff in the box on just a tank because they figure that if you're buying it, you know how to use it, and that's the wrong way to look at it. Now, Premax, I'm glad they put that manual in there, and TKAT could read it and learn and, you know, figure things out.
Yeah.
But then again, that goes back to your stores where they should know the product. You know, I don't use sub-ohm tanks, but I can tell you 90% of the sub-ohm tanks are Canthal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and stainless steel is made mainly for if you're doing temp control. That's where stainless steel has been met for, is your temp control. So I don't use stainless steel because I don't like temp control. But, you know.
But I will admit, though, like for stainless steel, I personally don't use it. I usually use nichrome or Canthal. But for stainless steel, I don't, like you said, like if I made a fuse Clapton, when I make fuse Claptons, I'll sometimes use stainless steel as a Clapton wrap, just because it does. I don't really notice the difference in flavor. To me, all stainless steel is good for is those good coil shots for Instagram, because you get those colors.
Yeah.
Pretty much, because I mean, you don't get a good ramp up time with stainless steel, you know, compared to Canthal.
Well, you have to. It ohms out real low, like nichrome does, if not lower than nichrome. But you cannot vape it too high because it changes the composition of the metal.
Yeah, and then your ohms will jump all over the place.
Yep.
Sorry to disappoint everybody on the panel and chat, though. Jay is not coming in because since we didn't get this running till very late, he's unable to join. But there will hopefully be another time where Jay can pop in.
At least now he knows how to do it. Kind of.
Sort of, yeah.
Well, at least he knows he can actually control everything on his phone. That's right. I taught him.
He now has a remote control for Zoom.
I'm a car geek. They're the computer geeks.
Okay,
Well, he's more
TKAT,
like computer tech.
have you
stuff.
taken over his
I'm like
laptop and
nerds
fixed it yet?
of computer tech stuff for programs. Give me a program, and I'll probably learn it within like 5 minutes.
Say that again, bud.
TKAT, have you taken his laptop and fixed all the shit wrong with it?
Not yet.
Well, what's wrong with you? You're slacking.
But all right, folks. Unfortunately, I think we're going to end the stream here. Just had a few things to talk about tonight, but I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, chat. Everyone who came on the panel. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Spike. Thank you, Mike, for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Hopefully I can get this all ran better to where next time it won't be we won't be sitting there for an hour trying to figure out what's going on. Thank you, TK, for that too. But as always, thanks for tuning in. Does anybody have any closing comments they would like to add onto the show?
Keep it saucy.
SallaD, how about you?
Vape on.
Spike, what about you, bud?
Just kind of like what the panel was touching on earlier. Just know what you're vaping on. Always keep on top of the battery safety, even with regulated. If you have any doubts, check out Battery Mooch. He will teach you just about everything that you will need to know about battery safety. And yeah.
Joe, what about you, bud? Do you have any closing words?
Yeah, you can check out me on my YouTube.
Plug.
And if you're not a member yet, join the Vapor Cave. It's a fun group to be in. So.
Yes, go check out Vaping Joe M on YouTube. Follow TKAT and the SallaD on Twitch. And YouTube. If you're into gaming and like to watch gaming streams.
Eventually I will be doing some juice reviews.
Well, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, I got a couple juice reviews I want to be doing this week too.
Nice.
But everybody got anything out they want to say?
Yep. I'll have a good night.
Yep, folks, you have a great night. Like I always say, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, Monster Man Vapes and friends, signing off.
Dysfunctional.